Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are on this planet Earth of ours, and welcome to the Greg Roman Leaving Party. I am your host, the incomparable Shane Harris. I'm only kidding, guys. Third and Long podcast, Thursday edition. My buddy Ollie Hope is that side. Sorry, wrong side. My buddy Oliver Butler Henderson is that side. Gentlemen, how are we doing? How's things?
The book train is still running, so I am very happy. And I'm sure you are too with the Greg Roman Leaving Party.
Well, you've got rid of your bloody
This guy here is still waiting for Matt Patricia to be officially sacked.
Yeah.
I was going to
say, downgraded to janitor or car park attendant. That'd be good.
Or just not part of the organisation altogether, really.
That'd be even better. Even better if he can go and do one.
Although then again, if we're in Boston and Matt Patricia's telling you where you need to park, that'd be quite cool.
If I was walking through the C District area and I saw Matt Patricia, he'd be going into the bloody Atlantic Ocean. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, last time I was in Boston, I did a Segway tour. Maybe he could be my Segway tour leader.
Right, yeah, but he'll make you run straight into a brick wall. That's what he did with Mondre most of the season. Oh, gentlemen, it's been good.
Yes, Dave's just come up saying loads on interviews for OC Germany game buzzing.
Mate, I cannot wait. But let's get over to.
You guys can enjoy selling your kidney for tickets. I'll just stick with the London games.
Yes, reference Kelly there. Right, let's roll on to Monday night's game. Before we start anything, I've got this to play. As he scrolls it down.
This one.
What is your process from here when you start to think about what you want to do next? Because obviously it's going to be huge speculation.
I'm going to go home and get a good night's sleep as good as I can tonight. And
Or when you want to figure stuff out? I mean, always first.
No, I'm not. This has been a lot of focus on, this game, so yeah, it's just be one day at a time, truly.
Is that Tom Brady saying he's finished with football?
Well, I'm not sure if you've seen this press conference. I think I put something in the chat just before you put that in the chat, where he seemed to be saying goodbye at the end of the press conference.
Yeah.
So, as Dave says, I think Brady is done at the Bucs the way he said goodbye to the media. Yeah, I think he's definitely done at the Bucs, but I think whether he's done with football is another thing altogether.
I mean,
I personally think. Go on, bud.
No, carry on, mate. It's fine.
No, just gonna say, I personally think that Brady and football is like when you've got that ex-girlfriend that you want to leave and you finally have the guts to do it, but it just keeps bringing you back all the time. I bet in his mind he's thinking, I've had enough now, I'm done. But for a fact, give it a few months, the bug will be back in, football will dig its claws back into him, and he'll be back before you know it for at least one more season.
It wasn't even a few months last time. I think it was a few days, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, cap could be an issue for why Brady isn't keeping the Bucs. I feel like I can see Brady, going out with that boombox outside Giselle's house, like that movie.
Like every 90s movie, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
John Cusack.
That's it, John Cusack.
I mean, unless he goes to Las Vegas, or which is probably more likely he's going to end up. If he does, I think he'll call time on it. I wouldn't be surprised if he signed something like a one-day contract at New England and just go, right, I've done 21 years as a Patriot. Finished my career. I've won a ring elsewhere. That's easy for me to say. Prove that it was me, not that old guy back there.
So Dave says, I want him to win one more Super Bowl and then retire. Has he not won enough?
Yeah, he's won 7, Dave.
Does he need another one, really? Is he just going for all 4 fingers on both hands?
Or is that to equal Belichick? Because don't forget, Belichick already had 2 before he came to New England.
Yeah.
Just want to say.
That's right, he did. That's right.
But yeah, I mean, the game itself, no one wanted to do anything in the first 4 drives, 2 drives of each. It was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Oh, Dave said one more is back up to Mac. I'm just going to make a bold prediction now, and I'm not sure how you feel about this, Ollie. But I do not think Mac Jones will be starting quarterback for the Patriots this time next season.
Mac Jones will be the starting quarterback for Patriots this time next season.
I mean, I don't think he'll be in the postseason again, but I think so by the end of next season, Mac Jones will not be starting for the Patriots.
I know you meant. Mac will be. Mac will be. They'll get a decent OC in. Obviously, they're not going to bring in someone like Bill O'Brien, who's interviewed today and apparently has a very successful interview. Yeah, he'll be. They'll be sorry, Matt. They're not going to Zark Zappy, and Dave's agreeing with me, but it's not doing it.
Ollie, I heard Greg Roman's available.
He will, young Ollie, on a rookie contract. He will.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I mean, I will admit, I don't like Mac. I'm very low on Mac, but
I know you are. But let's remember, everyone was very low on Josh Allen in his first 2 seasons, and Mac's numbers in his first season over Josh Allen's numbers were better.
Anyway,
the difference is Josh Allen's had a very, very good OC.
Back to the Cowboys Bucks game. But yeah, the first 4 drives, I don't think there was a positive play, was there?
There was one for about 3 yards, but that was to get it back to line of scrimmage. Back to 10 yards, and that was it. It was really, really short. Really, really poor.
I mean, the Cowboys' first drive lasted 13 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, not even the kickers were having trouble.
Oh, Mayer!
I don't think the Bucks kicker actually made or went for a PAT or even a field goal.
That was painful watching Mayer. Four missed PATs because he's had such a good season. He was really consistent. He was great for my fantasy team, but he just had an absolute nightmare.
It's interesting because the first 2 went exit stage right. The next one went, and the last one went left, very left.
Yeah.
It was almost like he overcompensated,
Whenever I see a missed kick, it takes me back to 2019, Niners versus Seahawks. We were 8-0 at the time. I was watching it in my uni room. It was 5 a.m. It went to overtime. We had a kick, and Robbie Gould was injured, so Chase McLaughlin had a 30-yard attempt to win the game, and it ended up in the tunnel.
That's why you need the who's the Cards kicker, backup kicker, not Cards, Chiefs backup kicker.
Oh, you can read.
That's it. Yeah, that's where you need someone like that who
Whenever I see a missed kick from like a makeable distance, it always takes me back to that. It was overtime. It was like 6 a.m. when the game finished, and they hit a walk-off field goal to win the game at the end. And we were 8-0 at the time.
Yeah, I mean, the good news coming from that game is that Russell Gage seems to be okay.
Oh, that was bad. That was really bad.
I mean, when your head's like pretty much torn from your shoulders, that is bad. I mean, I felt sorry for the Cowboys defender because he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, it was a clean hit. It was just looked bad.
I mean, Russell Gage slipped, and then it just kept his momentum down. That was the issue, and there was no fault to any player.
No.
It was just one of those really nasty things, and it's never nice seeing a player come off, leave on a stretcher. I felt really sorry for him, and Bucks went on to score from that drive, and probably seen Brady's last touchdown, I think.
I mean that touchdown did win me 35 quid, so.
Right, let's roll on to the news.
And there's a lot of it.
Oh yes, there we go. Nathaniel Hackett.
You see,
now when I laughed when this went in, because obviously what's happened under Denver, but Ollie is very right. He corrected me, going, he is a good OC, and yes, he is a good OC. A very good OC. good football. He's a good footballer. He's got good brains, but as a head coach, he's nothing. So
There are so many good coordinators that haven't made it as a head coach.
there's one of them currently in Las Vegas.
Well, I mean, we'll see about that. I think give him a couple of years, he might be okay. But look at someone like Jim Tomsula at the Niners.
Yeah.
We got to the Super Bowl, had another year, and then we went 2-14 with him.
It's the same with defensive coordinators. Any kind of coordinator has always got the fallback guy, which is the bigger guy above them.
And again, look at Matt Patricia. He was a great defensive coordinator. Went to the Lions, did nothing, and now somehow he's the offensive coordinator of the Patriots.
Yeah. Same with the Lions. Their offensive coordinator is staying there. Ben Johnson is staying, which is a good thing because their offense was absolutely rocking last year. They're on the top scoring defenses in the league. And fair play, yet their defensive coordinator is still having interviews. I think he's being interviewed with Arizona sometime this week as well.
Also, we've seen D'Amico Ryans has got like 4 interviews this week before a game.
Mad.
I thought they couldn't talk to coordinators until their team was out of the playoffs. But
I thought they weren't meant to either.
I'm sure Schefter said they had 4 interviews this week.
No, I always take what Schefter says with a pinch of salt following the Brady retirement last year.
True.
Yeah, he might have 4 interviews lined up, and it might be when you get on Monday morning when you're eliminated. But we'll see.
I just had clarified. I just had clarified that to you, we actually made the playoffs, and to you, we're actually still in the playoffs. So, and to both of you,
there you go.
We're actually going to have a decent quarterback next year.
Yeah, we'll have a decent offensive coordinator. That's completely different. Yeah, I mean, I do like.
And to you there, we're not going to have a running back or quarterback next season.
Yeah. It's all right.
Well,
like
you sure
I said,
about that? Trey Lance will be running around. That's true. Talk to me about your talk me about Ron Coughlin.
Honestly, I don't know much about him. I didn't even know who he was until he became the Titans general manager. But Trey Lance's 3 crossed fingers seemed a bit sus to me.
See, Tennessee need a quarterback. He's not going to be starting quarterback next year.
They better pay as a king's ransom for him. We traded 3 first-round picks. We traded 3 first-round picks for this guy. I want at least 3 first-round picks back.
We'll see what happens. It's all. I mean, so he's come across as your people development personnel people development. What they pronounce over there? Basically, HR in American football terms. Yeah. The interesting one is the former Eagles defensive coordinator, Jim Swartz. So he's the 2017 Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator for the Eagles. Detroit were one of the Cleveland were one of the worst scoring defenses last year. Eagles, when they won the Super Bowl, were in the top 10 for all of the main ones. Stops on 3rd down, takeaways, sacks. They were the top of that in 2017. Is this what Cleveland need? Shane?
Sorry, but yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'd say so, to be honest with you. Yeah. The Browns, as I've said previously on the pod, the Browns have all these pieces. They've got superstars on both sides of the ball. They just need someone, like, for lack of a better term, a puppet master to sort of pull all the strings and put them all together. I think Cleveland can be a dangerous, dangerous team when they've got the correct coordinators in place.
Yeah. Really, really, really. I'm high on Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett's one of the best defensive ends in the league. Depends what this gentleman says.
One of the.
Yeah. Denzel Ward is one of the best corners in the league when fit. They've got a couple of really good linebackers in that team. If they can re-sign Javanius Clowney, that defense will be strong next year. Although I think Javanius Clowney has burnt his bridges. But yeah, it's getting they're building something in that defense. They've got some really good players. If they don't start producing, Kevin Swansea could be on the hot seat next year.
I'm surprised he's not this year. I know there was the whole Deshaun Watson suspension probably saved him, but
yeah.
instead the OC was it the OC and the DC, or was it just the DC that got the boot?
It was just the defensive coordinator's gone. Right. Before I go on to Rodgers, we have some exciting news today. Hey, for us UK and Germany fans.
Do we? All right, yeah.
I believe the guy that just scored announced it, did he not?
No, it wasn't him. It was Emerson.
Oh, so it's 2-0 now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
2-0 now. Yep. Tottenham beating Spurs Man City 2-0, and
Looks
yeah,
like
Harry
Pep's
Kane
on the hot.
Do you want to run the video, Ollie?
Harry Kane announced it. Let's load the video.
Run VT.
Hey. Famous last words.
Hey everyone, Harry Kane here. I'm here at the home of Spurs and the location for 2 of the 2023 London Games. Lucky for you, I'm here to announce the designated teams for next season. So without further delay, let's get into it. To play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the one you can see behind me, get loud for that Bills Mafia. I can't wait to hear the noise. It's the Buffalo Bills. And the second team, and bringing King Henry, is the Tennessee Titans. And finally, to play at my other home, the home of England football, the returning Jacksonville Jaguars. What an epic slate of games, I can't wait. Remember to register your interest at NFL.com. See you there.
NFL.co.uk for your interest. Also,
Go on.
Yep, same.
Harry Kane with all the charisma of a burnt chip there.
Yeah.
Going to be interesting because obviously he's a massive Patriots fan.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a big Patriots fan.
I knew he was a big NFL fan. I didn't know he was a Patriots fan.
Yeah, he's a Patriots fan. He's been to 2 of their Super Bowls.
Oh,
Because he always seems to get an ankle injury around about the Super Bowl time.
Is it Neymar who always gets injured or suspended around his sister's birthday?
Yeah, funny that. He got sent off his first game back. Yeah, it's so obviously being Patriots fan and he's had to go on, the Bills Mafia make noise. I bet that really hurt him. Are we going to see Danny Rick at Tottenham? Being that Danny Ricciardo is a massive Bills fan as well. There's actually videos of him with Josh Allen throwing balls at Orchard Park.
He's jumping through tables with the rest of them, isn't he?
Hey, something like that. Yeah, he is actually has jumped through a table.
Danny Ricciardo, is he the driver guy?
Yeah,
he's the Formula 1 driver. Yeah, he's the driver guy.
Danny lives in the UK, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's at Red Bull now. So also going to Germany, we have my New England Patriots and my son's Kansas City Chiefs going to Germany. So Germany got 2 games. Touchdown trips who me and Kelly went to Boston with have announced that if you go on to you can get package deals going. So they've announced that today as well. And they said they can get guaranteed tickets.
You're taking notes to go and watch the Chiefs?
No. No. No, I probably won't. It depends. Well, yeah, I won't because A, it's too much money. B, it's too much for a hassle. all that. Oh, and it's easier than the London games.
Yeah.
I've seen the things, obviously Ravens could end up playing both the Tottenham games or one of the two
Yes.
Tottenham games because they've got obviously divisional rivals against you two. You could end up being
Jags game.
No,
Yeah, Jags.
Jags.
Jags at Wembley.
There's some big games. Obviously, Eagles has got 2 or 3 of the games as well. There's some really, really big games and really some nice games. I do have some great photos. Some great some things. I did some research earlier on of who could play who. Obviously, Jags and Titans are divisional rivals, so they could both get Colts and Texans. Ravens, Falcons, Bengals, Chiefs, and Niners for the Jags. Colts, Titans are Falcons, Ravens, Panthers, Bengals, Chargers, and Seahawks. Buffalo have obviously got Pats, Bills, and Jets. Finns and Jets, sorry. They've also got Broncos, Raiders, Cowboys, Giants, Jags, and Bucks.
I can see Cincy coming over this year.
So the interesting thing
It's not
is, Cincy have got a couple of games. Patriots going obviously to Germany, so it looks like it's going to be Frankfurt because obviously they were in Munich last year. They've obviously got the NFC rivals of Bills and Jets. They've Finns as well. They've also got Indianapolis, Washington, LA Chargers, KC, Eagles, and Saints. Chiefs rivals are Bills, Bengals, Bears, Broncos, Lions, LA Chargers, Las Vegas Raiders, Miami Dolphins, and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Just going to put this out there. I just think it's interesting that all 5 are AFC teams.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Is it because the AFC
Ah.
have like the extra home game this year?
Yeah, I think there is. But Jags have only got 8 home games according to their schedule. According to what I saw on their website, their schedule. So as I was furiously writing it down in between
I've
classes.
always wondered how are the teams selected? Who gets to play over here in Germany?
Jacksonville, I've said they always want to come over here, no matter what.
Yeah.
It is because obviously you've got to give up a home game. They have said about it if they want to try and go around the whole lot, share the whole lot. It is interesting. They've got 2 AFC South teams over this year. I thought they could have gone one of each division because they've got 2 East teams coming over to this side of the pond as well. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how they do it, but I know every team has to give a home team up. It took Packers 15 years to come over, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which is
And then they lost when they did.
Lots of the Ravens were over. It was 2017, and after the Jags handed our ass to us, John Harbaugh said that he don't want to come over again. And I don't know whether it's because of the bad memories or just the logistics of it all.
Last time the Niners
Exercise those demons.
Last time Niners were over 2013.
Did you win?
2014 was the last time we were over. 2014.
I mean, Niners have played twice in London and won both times.
Yeah. There's it's some good games. Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's going to be some bloody good matchups. To be fair, even if Washington go to play New England, that could be a really good game. Both finished on the same record. Both kind of in that rebuilding phase. Got good players on both sides of the ball. It's going to be down to obviously who wins the Super Bowl because you've got Eagles in there who could come over, Chiefs coming over, obviously Bills are coming over, obviously Bengals could still come over. So whoever one of those
still come over.
So if Bills or Chiefs win the Super Bowl, oh yeah, of course you lot still come. Sorry, I forgot about you. I do apologise.
Yeah, we do exist, you know.
Try.
Do you?
If Bills or Chiefs win the Super Bowl, their home game is going to be normally against the first game of the season. That's how they open it up, and it's normally against a divisional rival or if you're lucky enough to play against Super Bowl winners again, which has happened. So if that happens, Chiefs play the Eagles. So say the Chiefs win it. Obviously, Chiefs against Eagles are counted out. So it's the way they work it out. It's really, really interesting. And if you've watched it,
There's
Good Morning
actually
Football had a really interesting story about it the other day.
there's actually a in terms of schedule, there's a documentary on Game Pass about how the schedule's worked out.
It is really interesting.
Oh,
Really hard. It's like how the hell they do that. This is why they do it 2 years, because that's why it takes them like pretty much a year to schedule it all out. It's
wow.
mad. So the likelihood they already know who's coming over. It's interesting.
I think if the Niners don't come over this year, they'll have a home game in 2024. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. So, Mr. Rogers is Phil's favourite person, as we know. And what Phil said last week, he does these things to keep himself relevant and in the news, blah, 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 blah. Kind of agree with him there. He does keep things to keep himself relevant in the news.
I do, yeah. He does this every year. The whole will
Yeah.
he retire, won't he retire happens every year.
But what he said on the Pat McCaffrey show Tuesday is what's been clickbaited as. And it is, I can win an MVP. Not, I can win another Super Bowl. I can win another MVP. So basically, I don't care about the team. I care about my accolades.
Yeah.
It rhymes with tick and it begins with a D move. It really is very, very poor of him to say that. It's don't care about the other people. I just care about me. And he was on the show. He said, "Oh, I want to finish my career with Mercedes Lewis. I want to, the likes of Randall Cobb, Mercedes Lewis, these kind of guys, because they're brilliant. They're great guys. They're standard guys. Blah 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 blah." I've never heard one person say that Aaron Rodgers is a really nice guy, apart from Pat McCaffrey. That's probably because he comes on his show every week.
Yeah. Like, I don't see people like standing up for Aaron Rodgers much.
I've never heard him say that. He's always slated as, when he did the Jeopardy thing, everyone took the piss out of him for that. Yeah. Would you want him as your teammate, guys? Let's go with Shano first.
To be honest with you, but I like to compare people like that to the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, where it's not about the team, it's about them first as a person and second as a brand. They've got to also have in their head, what's the next step? What happens when my career's over? Where does my money come from? So that's how certain people think. And people like Rodgers, who have been MVP before, who is a mega star in this sport that we love, is going to do that. But then the thing is, again, on the flip side of it, we don't know, what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know if he has Robert Tonyan and Mason Crosby over for a Sunday dinner every week. We don't know that. Do you know what I mean? So, but the impression he gives us that he is a bit of a self-centered piece of work, shall we say?
Yeah, we need to have a look at his 21st birthday party list to see who came.
So don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers was a great quarterback.
He still is a good quarterback. Not what he was, but he is still a good quarterback.
But
I'd rather have him than Russell Wilson, let's put it that way.
But I wouldn't want him on my team for the reasons Shane said. Like, he seems quite self-centered. Obviously, I can win another MVP, not I can win another Super Bowl. But also, as Shane said, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. He could just be a great guy. I mean, apparently he's dating the heiress of the Bucks or whatever. Milwaukee, not Tampa Bay.
I know.
Wrong sport.
Obviously, like, from what I've seen, I wouldn't want him as a Niner.
Let's put it this way. Let's compare him to Tom Brady. Both been around, both like roughly the same age, give or take 3 or 4 years. Both had great careers. They're both, going to be Hall of Fame players. Tom Brady every year, always renegotiate his contract to generate more cap space, to get better players.
Hometown deal sort of thing.
Hometown deal, better players in, to give him the weapons, blah, 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 blah. Even though they always go, right, let's get the best defense to win it that way, because that's what the Patriots did, which is fair enough. They won 6 rings because of it. Aaron Rodgers was, I want 50 million, and then doesn't care about the team, and then has a go at his rookie wide receivers because they can't afford to have classy good players. Like, you can't, like, for example, his lot went out and got C-Mac. And you can't go and have a C-Mac or a Juju, these very, very good players, because they don't have the cap space, because Aaron Rodgers is greedy and taking all the cap space.
While we're talking about cap space, if he retires, I've done this research now, 40 million hits on the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and it's then it goes down for next year, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they announced what the cap is for next season yet?
Yeah, they did. Last season is going up another 10%, I think.
Okay.
So we've had a couple of breaking bits of news. Obviously, my learned colleague to the left of me has they've said goodbye to his OC. Dolphins have fired their DC. And yeah, so have Tampa Bay. They've released Byron Leftwich, which went a few hours ago now. Obviously, we know this gentleman next to me is incredibly happy. Do you want to tell us why you're incredibly happy, Shane?
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you know what? Honestly, at last, right? And if you keep up with the Ravens Twitter like I do, it's nothing but Greg Roman slander. They wanted him out for a long time. I think if we had a different offensive coordinator against the Bengals, we would have beaten them, in all honesty. I think the quarterback sneak call, which basically cost us the game, would not have been called. And I think that, and then afterwards, the players have come out and said, people like J.K. Dobbins, give me the ball, I'm supposed to run with it, why am I not having enough carries? You know, and people have basically said that it's down to the offensive coordinator that we lost. And I'm not saying that he was a bad hire in the first place. He was good for a while, but I think everything runs its course. Everything has a shelf life. And I'm glad that, and it wasn't even a case of us sacking him. He stepped away because I think even he knew he was done.
Mm. The Dolphins one surprises me a little, personally, because they weren't that bad of a defense, Dolphins.
No, they weren't.
You know, they had 2 good takeaways. They had takeaways against the Bills. They ran the Bills very, very close. But when you go 3 wins, 3 defeats, 5 wins, 5 defeats, 2 defeats, 1 win, 1 defeat, there's something's got to give. And it's either going to be your offense, your head coordinator, or your defensive coordinator. It's going to be one of those 3.
Just out of interest, something just popped up on my Twitter that might be breaking news because we've not mentioned this. The Colts have just completed their interview with their vacant head coach one with Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, they were going to interview him anyway. Same as Steve Wilkes is being interviewed for the Panthers job.
That just seems an interesting choice because he wasn't exactly a good coach.
No.
Cheap. You know, it's a case of...
cheap. Yeah, no experience or nothing. They just came from high school, didn't he? And the fact that like he's a Colts icon, they basically bought the fans' love by saying, "Yeah, you're somebody that you used to watch playing. He's your coach now as well."
It always makes me laugh. So the Pro Bowl that he was involved, so his last ever Pro Bowl, and
the one where he swapped teams so he could do one last snap to Peyton.
One last snap, yeah, one last snap with Peyton. I love that. That's absolutely brilliant. You know, it comes on. You know, I had to do one last thing with him. Blah blah blah. It's great. Byron Leftwich, is that Buccaneers going? Look, we've got rid of that toy. We get you new toys. Come back, please. To Tom Brady?
No, I don't. I think the Bucks and Brady know they're parting ways.
I'm just wondering if they're trying to entice him.
I think it's trying to entice.
Don't go to Las Vegas for all the strippers and.
I think it's casinos. I think they're trying to make themselves a more desirable team for another quarterback because, having Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Scotty Miller, Cade Otton, Tyler Titan, whose name I
Tight
can't
end as
remember,
well.
isn't enticing enough.
It's good for a quarterback like Derek Carr, a Matt Ryan, a Ryan Tannehill, that standard quarterback. Look, you've had no weapons in Indianapolis. You've had no weapons in Tennessee. You've had really, really good weapons in Las Vegas. Like, come and play with our new toys. We've got a guaranteed 1,000-yard wide receiver every week. You've got a cheap man's version of Julian Edelman in Scotty Miller, but a very, very good wide receiver in Scotty Miller. We've got Leonard Fournette. You might not even have Josh Jacobs next year. That it's come into our lab. It's layer kind of thing, isn't it? It's good. Ollie's trying not to die, so I do apologise. Right, updated draft order has gone through. Obviously, the top 18 have stayed as they are. Obviously, Seahawks have got a 5th pick as well as a 20th pick. Eagles have got a 10th pick from the Saints as well. And it comes down to the teams that have just been knocked out of the playoffs. We have Buccaneers going in at 19th, Seahawks at 20. Dolphins have forfeited their 21 pick for their reasons I can't remember off the top of my head. LA Chargers at 22, Ravens at 23, and Vikings at 24.
It was talking to Shane Payton and Tom Brady illegally,
Of course it was.
wasn't it?
Of course it was.
And of course,
Yeah,
we
I
still
knew
got
something like that.
Jags, Giants, Cowboys, Bengals, Broncos, 49ers, Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles to be decided.
Yeah.
Technically, it's
so we'll know the
Broncos via Miami, via San Francisco, but
I just borrowed it off Bleacher, and that's what they said it was. Okay. Let's roll on to this week. Let's roll on to this week's games. With the predictions.
Matthews just came up saying bonjour, guys.
Bonjour, Matthew. How are you feeling after your weekend mauling by the Giants? Although it was probably game of the week, to be fair.
I think
game.
I think the other ones game of the week.
You're struggling to think them.
Ravens Bengals. That's it.
Indianapolis have just said they've completed their interview just Saturday as well. It's on their Facebook page. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. There's some really, really good games this weekend. You're always going to get good games of this week. The divisional. You're starting to get the best of the best now, aren't you? I'm looking forward to it. Which game jumps out the most? Bar Bengals Bills, because everyone's going to say the Bengals Bills, and I'm surprised it's not on Saturday night or Sunday night.
I'm not going to say Niners versus Cowboys, because obviously that does. But for me, I think Giants Eagles is going to be the game of the week. And by the way, Niners is actually 23-30, not 22-30 for anybody that's.
That's me and my fat fingers. I'll change it now.
Just didn't want anyone to be confused.
Oh mate, I confused myself. Don't worry about it. There you go. It's now back on. It's now correct for you. So, Trevor Lawrence has never lost a game on a Saturday.
I think that's going to change.
This is my game of the week. This is David against Goliath. David better carry a big hammer if he's going to slay Goliath this time, and I sincerely hope he does.
Yeah, we're going to get at least one Josh Allen. Well, maybe get one Josh Allen. Maybe not any Josh Allens into the AFC Championship game. That could be interesting.
I think Giants Eagles would be a really close game, and the one thing I'll be watching for that in that game is how healthy is Mr. Hurts' shoulder.
Yeah. This is why, me personally, I'm going to New York to win this game. Okay, yes, Jalen Hurts played in Week 18. He looked a little bit limited. He wasn't being Jalen Hurts. This season, he was being Jalen Hurts from last season. So I've gone for New York to win this game. I just think they're riding the crest of the wave at the moment. It's a divisional matchup. It's the NFC least from 2 years ago matchup. These two are like first, second, and third round picks, or second and third picks 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or something like that. This is going to be a great match. And they always have divisional matchups, always brilliant. Always brilliant. So I'm going for New York to win that one. You guys?
I'm going to back Philly.
Yeah. I agree with Ollie on this one. I think are they going to be too much? I think the Giants are going to I think the Giants are going to bottle it. In all honesty, sorry, Mark. By the way, I think bottle it.
Does anyone speak French for très deux? Very something, maybe dire weekend. But
very dire weekend.
Very happy with the season. Fair enough.
Yeah, Trey's very.
I know Trey's very, and then he said NFC North champ.
Unfortunately, though, Matthew, I do think the Lions are going to take that title off you next year.
I don't think you're winning it next season.
Are we thinking the Kansas are going to give Trevor Lawrence his first defeat on a Saturday?
I am.
I don't want to. I really want the Jags to win, but I think the Chiefs are just too much. I really do. I think they're one of the top 2 teams in football right now and have been for years. Now, rolled on about 5-6 years since Mahomes has been there, since Andy Reid has been there really as well. But no, I think it's Chiefs all the way.
Mahomes and Kelsey will be too much for the Jags to handle.
Yeah, definitely. Go on then, Ollie. Your game.
I'm worried. I am very worried. The Cowboys looked very imperious. A really hard weekend. But I do think that Brock at Levi Stadium, I think, will be too much for the Cowboys. So I'm going to go for an 9-1.
Shano.
If there is a God up there, right, or some sort of divine being, right, he will make Dak Prescott into prime Steve. Phil will be happy with our reference, and he will dance all over the Niners. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, in week 17, when Robbie Gold had that kick at the end of normal time, I asked the football gods to make him make it, and he didn't. We then went in overtime.
But it'll be it'll be an interesting game. But I think the Niners are just too much. They've got too many offensive weapons. Their defense is too good. The Cowboys are the very epitome of hot and cold. So I think just on paper alone, I know game's not won on paper, but on paper alone, I think the Niners have got this one.
My question for you is, if the Niners do win, is Mike McCarthy gone?
No. 12-5. He'd be 12-5. No way.
He will be. You need to get us to the Super Bowl next year, or your ass is fired.
Because I know Joe pretty much came out and said if the rest of the Bucks he was going.
Yeah, I think that's this is the next one, and unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but you guys are in a different level from Tampa, completely different level.
If you look at what happened last season at Joe's world, we've improved half the Cowboys.
Obviously, Keelan Mond's been asked for interviews around the league. Is Joey going to go? If he goes, you're having the job. I do believe that Brock's going to hit that rookie wall at some point. I do. I'm sorry. Yes, he played. He's had 7 starts now.
6 starts.
He also played 3/4 of the game that Jimmy got injured.
Yes.
I do think he's hitting the wall, and for him personally, I don't want him to hit that wall in the playoffs because that would be the worst thing ever for him. I think he's mentally strong enough to get over that. Don't get me wrong. But imagine going, like when Mac had it last year, he had it around about 11, 12 those last 4 games was off the cliff, as all rookies do. Same as Trey Lance, same as Justin Fields, same as Zach Wilson, all the QBs.
However, do you think we have enough offensive weapons and a good enough defense to potentially even win a game with a rookie hitting the rookie wall?
You've got to be able to stop Tony Pollard.
We have the best.
We
have the best run defense in the NFL.
They've got one of the best running backs in the league in Tony Pollard, and Zeke is always managed to make holes. You should be, CeeDee Lamb is a good wide receiver. Tony Gallup's an okay wide receiver. Noah Brown's not a bad wide receiver.
Is Noah Brown a wide receiver? I always thought he was a tight end.
No, Noah Brown's a wide receiver. Schultz isn't a bad tight end. Your secondary, you've said yourself, have slipped the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes.
But I think your linebacking core and your pass defense is good enough to do that. But that Cowboys O-line is now gone from one of the most penalised teams in the league to one of the least penalised teams in the league.
Yeah,
and their rookie right tackle is brilliant. Oh, Trayvon Smith,
their rookie right tackles played everywhere on the offensive line this year.
And he is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He's played right guard, left guard, right tackle. He hasn't played centre, obviously, because that's a specialist position. But saying that, I think you are just going to nick it. And I do think, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. It's not going to be a Seahawks game. I do think they'll cause you issues. And I think their secondary will grab a pick of Brock. But yeah, I just think you're just going to have enough of them. I don't think Dak can have 2 games where he's not getting a pick or 2.
No.
Yeah,
Dak reminds me a lot of Matty Stafford.
As I said, I am very worried about this game. The Cowboys worry me.
Mm-hmm. Probably to game of the week. So this game was meant to happen in week 16 when DeMar Hamlin went down. 16,
week 17.
Week 17 when DeMar Hamlin went down. So we've got no reference on this. We've only got what they've gone against each other. Which B's going to win?
Bills.
Yeah, I think so. This is one of those games where if somebody says to you, I want to get into American football, where should I start? This is one of the games you show them because this is full of superstars. This will be a shootout, and I think the Bills have got the answer. I think the Bengals are good, and I think they'll put up some points. But you know what it's like. I think Josh Allen is going to be this generation's Tom Brady. We just can't bet against him.
Oh, please don't say that.
Are you going Bills? Can you bring yourself to go Bills?
I don't know because the Bills didn't look good against Miami. They haven't looked good since Josh has been injured. Since he injured his elbow against New York, he's not looked the same. The first quarter against Miami, he was brilliant. He was Josh Allen at his best, and he looked like he looked like he looked like the best. He looked like Josh Allen we've seen all year.
Best Bengals fan is saying Bengals.
Then Miami started changing things up. They started coming around different ways. They started doing different coverages. And he started to look a bit shaky. He started making mistakes. He started going, I'm just going to look, I'm going to run. I'm going to make the down with the run. I'm going to try and hit Stephon Diggs for 80 yards. I'm going to hit Gabe Davis 70 yards. He didn't look like Josh Allen. He looked Josh Allen from his first couple of years. Not the Josh Allen who's just been paid, got paid 150 odd million for 5 years or something stupid like that.
So you're saying the Bengals?
Bills don't have Von Miller. Their rush defense hasn't looked as good. They didn't get Sky Thompson. I think they got Sky Thompson once. on Saturday.
Just so Kelly said, generally they are better than the Bills through the last part of the season. Bo looks like he has more in the tank than Allen.
I don't know about looking more on tank than Allen. I think Joey Burrows looks more composed than Allen at the moment.
Just make your decision. Stop stalling.
I'm stalling because I generally don't know.
I know, but
And I've got a coin.
I was going to say, toss a coin, Brad, toss a coin.
watch out, watch out, watch out. You might get fined.
So I'm not on the field. I'm okay. I'm gonna agree with my better half.
You're gonna go Bengals.
I think
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough,
If
boy, fair enough.
I end up being two behind you lot, it's gonna backfire. Obviously you noticed there's only 3 of us today. Mr. Phil is our resident teacher, and he's had a bad week, I think. He's managed to say he's knackered and all that, so he wouldn't be much company. On the show, I think he's trying to get rid of his strike action ready, getting all his pickets ready. I think he's been busy doing that. But I do have one this week in football, and I don't know if John's watching because it is relevant to John as well.
Do the voice. Do the voice.
This day in whatever day it was.
That's awesome!
Bloody voice. This day in 2002, that was it. The Tuckball game. I can't do it.
Wow.
I'm nowhere near as good as Phil. So it was Patriots against the Raiders. It was overtime win versus the Raiders in 2001 divisional game.
As Kelly said, please
Patriots.
stop.
Please stop.
I can't carry on at my throat. So, 13-10, I remember watching this game. It was one of my first ever games I watched. I was allowed to stay, but I watched it.
2002, you must have been in your 40s by then, Ollie.
2001. So, I was at college. So, what was I doing? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't. I stayed up and watched it anyway, which is unlike me. Back in them days, I was normally very, very, very drunk. I probably was at college, so I would have been very drunk. And the Patriots were trailing with just under 2 minutes left in the clock. And Tom Brady had his arm back, ready to throw the ball, and he got hit by, Woodhouse.
Woodson?
Charles Woodson, that's it.
I was 3, and even I know that.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. Remember, I was
That's
drunk
depressing
at the time,
to
man.
you.
Yeah, I was drunk at the time. Which the ball fell to the ground. It was recovered by the Raiders, but the booth reviewed it and called it to the tuck rule. I never know what the tuck rule is. I never heard the tuck rule since. Don't know about anyone else.
So it was given as not a fumble, correct?
Yeah, it was given as not a fumble, and it's given as Brady had tucked it, taken it on. Apparently, the word on the street is that Brady told the officials about that rule. This is why the Niners. This would be very interesting if Tom goes to Las Vegas and wins them a ring. Will they ever forgive him for that tuck rule? They went on for 45.
Even Tom Brady came out last year and said it was a fumble.
Yeah, on his documentary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, on this day in 1999, Shano, the Ravens hired Brian Billick as their head coach.
Sorry, do you want to prefix that with Super Bowl winning coach Brian Billick?
No. It just says Brian Billick. Right, Shano, let's bring up your specials for these weekend's games, mate.
Yes, please. So, as is normal by now, everyone knows on a Thursday, I like to do a little segment called Shano Specials. Just a couple of quick bets, win you some money, this late in the season. I picked out a couple. These are on Sky Bet at the moment. The first one I'm going to go with is Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley to rush for 100 plus yards each. That is 10-1. I think that's really, really good because we all know how good CMC is. And even though Saquon Barkley is my pick for comeback player of the year, I think he's capable, more than capable, of rushing for 100 plus yards. I think that's a great bet to win yourself a couple of quid.
I think
There's also an interesting.
That's a good price.
Yeah, me too. I fancy that. There's also an interesting one on you as well. I want to know what you guys think of this one. Any non-quarterback to throw 1+ passing touchdown, 7-1. Why do you think they've put that on there?
Julian Edelman to Danny Amendola against the Ravens in 2000 and I want to say 14.
Well, I mean, McCaffrey's done it this year for the Niners. Debo did it last year for the Niners.
Right. So okay, that's basically what they're driving at then. With that. Oh, that makes sense.
I think it's 7-1.
Yeah, it's not. It feels like.
I just wanted to know.
Figures, you know.
I think 20-1. I might think about it, but anything under that, no.
Yeah.
I
was just curious, and go on.
I don't think there was. Obviously, McCaffrey played quarterback at one point. Cowboys, one of the wide receivers, played quarterback at one point as well. Is it Turpin, their kick returner?
Oh yeah,
he played quarterback when he was younger as well.
Here's one that
I remember.
Juszczyk played quarterback as a kid.
Yeah, so there's a few in there.
No.
But I don't think 7-1.
I remember when I remember Derrick Henry done it to us. When we played the Titans, I think it was 2 years ago when they basically beat the hell out of us. Yeah.
What was this year when he jumped and did it? Wasn't he just sort of jumped up in the air?
He did. I think he was. Anyway, the next one then, which I think is another good one. Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, and Christian McCaffrey again to all score 1 touchdown each is 7-1 on Sky Bet. I think that's printed money. I really do. I think they're giving you money. I
said before the show that whenever I back Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown, he doesn't do it.
So if Ollie backs
this weekend
goes to this bet, don't go for it. It's like Kelly when she backs the Vikings, they lose, and when she doesn't back them, they go on and win.
Falcons or Vikings?
Vikings. No, Falcons.
You said Falcons before the show.
Falcons. I meant Falcons. This is why I sound like when I'm tired. I've had a busy week.
I'm just going to pick another quick one as well. Let me see what we've got available here. I'm going to go with. Go on.
I'm just going to give you a quick Paddy Power one, just to give a bit of variety.
Yeah, go for it, bud. Go for it. Yeah.
So at 10-1 on Paddy Power, they have one which I like, and that is Bills to win. Josh Allen and Joe Burrow to both throw 300 plus passing yards.
What's the price on that?
10-1.
10-1. I think that's a good one as well. But so there we are. You've all got a couple of bets to have a little look at for the weekend's games. Obviously, there's a lot more markets available on Sky Bet, Paddy Power, and Coral and Ladbrokes as well. I will be tweeting out on the Third and Long podcast Twitter page the bets that we previously mentioned. And good luck, everyone.
Good luck indeed. I love this weekend of football. I love divisional football. I think you've got 8 of the best teams in the NFL going toe to toe.
And the Patriots aren't in it for once.
Oh, yeah. Leave the boy alone, man.
Mate, it's fine by me. I'm used to it now. I've got used to it. You know, it's fine by me. You know, we are in a rebuild phase. You know, we'll be back in a couple of years.
Yeah, 20.
It's a long off season, but it's a long off season. Plenty of stuff can happen now.
We've got a lot of cap space in the next couple of years coming up.
Exactly.
A lot of cap space. Shane, Ollie, thank you for joining me tonight on a wonderful show. Hopefully the 4 of us will be back on on Monday. Phil, get yourself back better, get some sleep. Enjoy painting your pickets, ready for your strike in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we won't have 2 crying hosts, down below us. But we will be back Monday, 8:30, as per usual. Thank you. Good night and stay safe.
See ya.